The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, everybody, to a unique new show, Health from the Inside Out. I'm Dr. Jason Kelberman. Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Kelberman, chiropractic kinesiologist. And today's show and in coming shows, you're going to see and hear and feel a unique group of doctors that are going to join us. It'll be different every week, so stick around. Get attached, ask questions. We'll give you plenty of information on how to get a hold of us, emails, websites, etc. later on in the show. But I'm just going to open this up and also introduce my sidekick here, D Nice. Want to say hello?
Hey, Doc. Thanks for inviting me on, man. You know what I'm saying? We worked together for quite a long time. And like I told you guys before, this guy brought me back. And it's a great honor to be able to find somebody who knows what they're doing and do what they know. So I'm honored to be on the stage with you, man.
Yeah, great to be with you. Last week, we had an overwhelming response to a particular area called peripheral neuropathy, which is basically nerve damage.
Exactly.
And so I thought, I know that sounds pretty intense, but I just want to walk you through a few things to kind of open the show up that is probably affecting many of you out there right now. You just don't know it. So I want to give a little framework to all of that. I've been practicing for about 35 years, and as I've been aging, my patient population is aging, so I'm seeing things that go along with that.
Right.
Okay? Yes, I do a lot of sports injuries still. I still love that. That's all fun and good. But my specialty, after all these years, is peripheral neuropathy. So let's describe it. What the heck is it? How do you get it? What do you do about it? Et cetera. Okay? It's basically nerve damage to the peripheral, so the ends of your hands, the ends of your feet. The feet are most common. And a lot of you probably watch television and have heard commercials about drugs, Lyrica, for example, for peripheral neuropathy, for diabetic neuropathy. Okay? Well, unfortunately, diabetes is only one of 100 different ways you can get it. Okay? So let's start with the most common. People who have back pain. There's a lot of people walking out there with back pain.
Oh, yeah.
As the spine ages, especially the lower spine, it can crush in on the spinal cord and nerves. And these nerves go down your legs and into your feet. So that's a very common place that people are having trouble. All right. But they usually know that they have had back pain long before.
Right.
In this scenario, you usually don't wake up one day and go, oh, my God, my feet are killing me. It's my back. And no, it's your back a long time before. Usually it's people with chronic back pain that will develop that.
Wow.
Okay? They know. People out there, you know who you are. Okay? The ones who can't get up in the morning, can't get out of bed, can't sit on the toilet, can't walk very far, living on drugs, whatever. Okay? 5 different types of peripheral neuropathy.
Okay.
How you get them. Lumbar spine is one. Disease-based is the other. Diabetes most common, but kidney disease, liver disease. Here's a fact for you. I try not to throw too many out. If you are pre-diabetic, that means you're not diabetic, but you're headed in that direction, you can get nerve damage there. So the statistics now show that 50% of the people who are pre-diabetic are already having nerve damage. That's not good. Okay? We used to think you got to get diabetic and become diabetic before you'll have any kind of downside from it. No, that's not the case. So that's how bad sugar and our inability to deal with sugar is in our world, and it's everywhere.
Right.
And we talked last week about how all the middle aisles of the supermarket is just full of sugar, and even the bread's got sugar, and the sugar with sugar, and it's just that's one of the worst things for us. They're talking now that sugar actually leads to cancer.
Really?
Yeah, they're starting to talk like that. There are so many. Basically, anything that affects our immune system will allow us to break down and thus let whatever else in.
Gotcha.
There were some studies, and don't quote me on this because I can't give you the reference, that were tracking people every 5 years. And they noticed that they would get cancer and the cancer would go away. They would get cancer. So it's not an unusual thing for our bodies during our lifetime to get some cancer and then actually deal with it properly when you can.
Okay.
And when you can't, that's where the problem comes in.
Right.
Okay. Some of our DNA starts to wear down, and it has a moment there where it has to decide, is it just going to die off or is it going to go cancerous? There are so many different things that we don't know about cancer. I don't want to even go there. So disease-based was another type of onset for that. Drugs cause nerve damage. I've got a list right in front of me here of 62 drugs that cause nerve damage. And these are just the main ones. There are more. We launched a new website tonight called westsidewellnesscenter.com. And we put a lot of effort into it. It's fabulous. But the one thing that's missing is this list tonight.
Okay.
So if you wait a couple days or certainly by next week, westsidewellness.com will have this list of 62 drugs that cause nerve damage that they could download. All right, so they can avoid these. If you can't wait, call the office, 310-268-8008. We'll be happy to email it to you or however else you want it, okay? And I didn't make this list up. This comes from the neurologists across America. They meet every year, and they discuss these things. And they talk to each other about, hey, what are you seeing?
Right.
Hey, what are you seeing? Hey, which drugs are causing the body? And this is that list, okay? Toxicity. Our world is becoming very toxic. Heavy metals, mercury, lead, arsenic, cadmium. These are the toxic elements that are most often associated with this kind of nerve damage.
Okay.
It's not supposed to be in our system. You're not supposed to have these metals in your body. It's like your uranium. You're not supposed to have it in your body. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Glowing in the dark.
The World Health Organization says mercury, there's no acceptable level. It's supposed to be 0.
Right.
Okay? So where do we get it? Well, we get it from the fish we eat and air we breathe and supplements. And you just can't even imagine all the places that we can get it. Okay? And the last one, the 5th category, is the immune system. Lyme disease, shingles, Epstein-Barr virus, lots of different immune problems will also attack the nervous system. So those are the 5 main categories. And then there are more. So when you see the commercial for Lyrica on television, this is the only pill that they came up with that deals with any of the neuropathies. Okay. And that's why the medical world is struggling to bring things forward to help this group of people who are suffering greatly, okay? Because there's no pill. They can't find a single pill that's going to help all of these conditions. Now, I've looked at some research, and maybe in 10 or 20 years, we're going to get to the point where we're actually going to be medicating the nerves, if you will. We actually do that right now with gabapentin, in a sense, but which is a drug for seizures. But we're getting to the point where we can find the enzymes that are breaking down, the myelin sheath of the nerves, and they're really working on it hard.
Right. Gotcha.
It's going to come, but we're not there yet.
Right.
Okay, so right now, you see your neurologist or your MD, you're going to get gabapentin or Lyrica or narcotics. That's it. Rehab doesn't really work these people. Physical therapy typically doesn't work these people because the nerves are damaged. nerves control muscle. So unless you start stimulating the nerves, the muscle can't function. Mm-hmm. You know? So if you're out there having trouble with balance, with foot weakness, with pain, cramping, burning, stabbing pains, creepy, crawly things going up your legs, all these signs and symptoms are typical for peripheral neuropathy. And everybody's a little bit different with that.
Right.
You got people say, my legs are just numb. That's one type of nerve that's damaged, okay? And that's actually a more difficult case, in my opinion, than the one that says, hey, I've got hot, burning, painful feet.
Okay.
Because they're different types of nerves. Okay? So that starts the ball rolling on that concept. Now, what we've been able to come up with over the last 10 years, because I've been working with peripheral neuropathy cases, studying with neurologists across America, and we've developed both metabolic and neurologic treatments. So basically, I'm going to break it down like we're growing some plants.
Okay.
All right. Let's keep it real simple. If you walked out to your yard and your plant was keeled over, you'd go, "Damn, I forgot to water it.
Right.
My wife's going to kill me."
Right. Okay.
Or you touch your finger in the soil. Well, it's wet enough.
Right.
It got too much sun.
Gotcha.
Right? Okay. If you came out and the soil was damp and there wasn't too much sun, now you start thinking, well, I guess the soil's not good enough. There's something in the soil that's bothering it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's right. Somebody dumped motor oil in here last year. Oh, these things will affect not just plants, but let's just translate that into human beings.
Gotcha.
Okay? So if we were to stimulate the nerves in the human being and fertilize them, and we're going to call that metabolic nutrition.
Okay.
Okay. We give the body all the raw nutrients that it needs, and take the interference out of the way. The body heals itself.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, things can get very complicated. You can have somebody who's a diabetic and has mercury toxicity, or you can have I've had them. You've got a lumbar stenosis, case that chronic back pain with that affliction down into the legs with the diabetes, and then the toxic element. Now that's a handful.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's a really tough case.
Wow.
Because they're getting hammered from every possible direction.
Exactly.
So this is why sometimes these cases are so difficult for anybody, especially the medical world, who's just going to throw a couple of pills at you.
Exactly.
Okay. So after treating, well, let me take 2 steps backward. Okay. I've been treating athletes for 35 years. So it's not unusual for me to have been treating feet all along, right? I know what you're thinking. I didn't know chiropractors treat feet.
No.
Well, they do, because they're really important. Because each foot, when you touch the ground, turns on 27 muscles in the human body. So feet are really important.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And some of us knew that. And some of us wear good shoes.
Right. Gotcha.
And some of us don't.
Wear good shoes,
and
right?
some of us wear flip-flops all over the place.
Right.
And some of us don't.
Right.
Okay? I personally think flip-flops are very dangerous.
You called me on that one time. Not flip-flops, but I had a pair of Skechers that were loose-fitting, the knit ones, right? The newest ones. And you're like, you might as well be wearing flip-flops or socks. And I'm sitting there going, really?
Yeah.
And it cost me a lot of money for those shoes.
So,
but
of course,
it wasn't doing any good for me.
But I've seen, I personally had, caught a flip-flop in a staircase and, snagged it and fallen. And I've broken a couple of toes that way. So
wow.
I'm talking from experience.
Right.
I'm sure everybody's out there going, yep, that happened to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I still wear them. No, I'm talking about people. I don't wear them. I don't wear them. We got off the beaten path there, but so dealing with feet was not foreign to me.
Okay.
Dealing with nerve damaged feet, now that's something I had to get creative with. There were some things that I learned that were basic for rehab, but nothing that really got the job done. And you know me by now. With my background, I'm going to create something.
Of course.
I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to make it work. And what you're looking at right in front of you is the end result of that. It's called Foot Power Pro. Yes, I brought show and tell to a radio show. Thank you very much. That's right. That's right.
Right.
So, as humans, we were supposed to be barefoot. Many, 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 many years ago. And then we created hard surfaces and concrete. And then we had to start wearing shoes.
Right.
And when you start wearing shoes, you actually lose the ability to, we call it in the medical world, we call it plantar flex, but we're talking about gripping the road.
Okay.
Okay? Like that. Okay? And walking and running is all the same. We lose that ability. And that's why a lot of people end up with all kinds of foot conditions like plantar fasciitis and neuromas and sprains and strains and tendonitis and torn ligaments and all that jazz.
Gotcha.
Because the entire bottom of the foot gets weak. Okay? So we developed this to strengthen the entire bottom of the foot and more. And I'm bringing it out today because it is now fully internationally patented.
Right.
So we can talk about it.
Okay.
Okay?
Wow.
I'm pretty proud of it. We'll be going into production on that real soon. But it has been a godsend for the peripheral neuropathy patients and all of my foot patients. So here's where it sort of duplicated itself. You'd be surprised how many people with lower back pain or other problems have foot problems. The pelvis and the spine, that's all dependent on what happens below.
Okay.
So if your feet, knees, and hips and legs aren't working, your pelvis isn't working, and your spine can't work.
Right.
Now, as a chiropractor, I was trained to realign the spine, and that's amazing. That's fantastic. But if you don't fix the foot, knee, legs, it's going to recapitulate. It's going to come back on you. Okay. So, back in the day, people used to say, "Yeah, that was a great adjustment. I feel fantastic. How long is it going to last?"
Right.
And obviously, I've had different answers over the years because it depends on the condition that you're dealing with. But if you rehab everything that you need to for that person down below, it's going to last a heck of a lot longer. Okay? Good. I mean, I got people who, I almost never see anymore because they're fixed. Okay? And that's kind of what we look for. We want to fix people, get them back in their lives, and show them how to stay well.
Right.
Getting well is important. Staying well is just as important.
Yes,
right?
Indeed. Right.
So we're educational. Maybe that's because of my previous, teaching experience or not. I know it seems a little offbeat, but I taught wood shop for many years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thus,
so
I was wondering.
The ability to create just about anything.
Got you.
We did a whole host of things. So that was back in New York City. That was when. So I ended up here in California because New York City was going bankrupt at the time, and they shut down all their teaching spots.
Okay.
I had to leave New York. Best thing that ever happened to me.
Wow, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. Okay, so we talked a little bit about peripheral neuropathy. We talked about why the medical world struggles to help that, and understandably so. Really, they're not very happy with what's going on. They have limited treatment protocols that they can offer.
Right.
If somebody was to say, I don't know if I have peripheral neuropathy, there are many, skilled docs who can test you for that.
Okay.
But as far as, so what does that look like? So it looks like a neurologic exam, okay, by a doctor. It looks like an EMG nerve conduction test by a doctor.
Okay.
If you want to get crazy, they have what are called punch biopsies, which basically measures how many nerve endings you have in an area. Because when you get peripheral neuropathy, you start to lose your nerves and they die off, so the numbers get smaller. Wow. I don't recommend that.
Right.
That's not a real necessary test, but they do a biopsy for in the medical world for that purpose as well. So there are many other docs who are skilled in that. Across the board, there are chiropractors who specialize in neurology and neuropathy. Would seek those out. You basically need somebody who has that experience.
Gotcha.
Okay, some podiatrists do, and some don't. Some physical therapists do, and most don't.
Right.
Okay. That's about the people who are going to be trained to do that.
Gotcha.
All right. Your dentist isn't going to do it. Your GP probably has no idea and will just refer you to a neurologist.
Right. Gotcha.
Okay. So there are chiropractic neurologists.
Okay.
Okay. And there aren't a lot of them because it's a real specialty, but
Gotcha.
but they're very well skilled, trained people. And I would highly recommend that if this is going across America or anywhere else,
yes, indeed.
that would be a good place to start because we have the alternative treatment protocols.
Right.
So, being a chiropractor, I had to learn how to treat without drugs.
Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
I had to help people without drugs. It's not on my license to dispense drugs, so under no circumstances could I do that. So that's what we had to figure out.
Gotcha.
Okay? So it basically involves dietary changes, nutritional supplements, sometimes called nutraceuticals, things to revive the human body to get it back online again and kick its butt and allow it to fulfill its expression.
Right.
Okay. I think we've all had the experience where maybe we had a flu or something, felt like we were going to die, and then the next day we popped up and got better. So that was our body overcoming that, okay, like many other things. Our immune system today is equivalent to everything you've been through in your entire life. So if I were to look on a microbial level, I would find every virus that you've ever had, every bacteria that you've ever had, et cetera.
Wow.
Okay, because you have antibodies to those floating through your body the whole time.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's all in you.
Wow.
It's kind of like you are also the expression, as a man now of everything that you've been through in your whole life. Well, your immune system's kind of like that. It's everything it's been through is in you. You bring it forward with you. So keeping your immune system strong is real important for all of us.
I can see. Wow.
I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Well, of course. Of course.
But I've thrown a lot of stuff out. We may want
that
to go sideways a little bit.
Yeah, that right there. I know there's somebody out there saying, "Okay, stop about that,"
the immune
because
system.
the immune system.
Yeah.
People don't really realize how deep that affects us, man.
Yeah.
I know. Usually, I never get sick, but then there was a time in my life where I realized where I can be around somebody that could be just falling out with all kind of sickness or whatever.
Yeah.
And how it affects me is I may get it almost like it's a stomach thing. It passes through me.
Right.
And so I'm blessed to be able to do it like that because it goes directly through me.
Sure.
But during that time it's going through me, I know that it's something heavy that I've just overcome while somebody else is sitting there in bed or in the hospital going through it.
Sure.
So not everybody's that is unfortunate like that to have that kind of system.
Okay.
But the immune system, like you told me, you said, Dave, when you looked at me, you're like, man, you need to pick up your immune system a little bit because I was one of those victims of I liked craft services. I like that sugar to keep me and keep me going. Yeah. And yet, so it just stacks up and comes back to haunt you sooner or later. And a lot of people don't realize that it's collecting like a memory in your body. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad you're bringing. Okay,
let me throw a few concepts out on that.
Okay.
Man, everything is very different these days, as you well know. But back in the day, if a piece of food fell on the ground, we had a 3-second rule, right?
Right.
Or if you kissed it and held it up to God, it was good anyway, right? Basically, we were more likely to tolerate that back in the day than we are now. And guess what they found? They found that being exposed to dirt is good. Okay. So, like if a parent brings up their child in an absolute immaculate, antiseptic, completely, bubbled in environment, they're not as healthy. Because our immune system gets better by the little things that attack it as well. Okay. It's what you respond to that you overcome. We could relate that to our lives as right. Aren't we better for what we've been through in life that we overcame?
Experiences,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So our immune system is the same. So So a little bit of dirt goes a long way. Is that what they're going to take out of this conversation?
Exactly. Eat dirt. You know what I'm saying? Stay
Eat
healthy,
dirt,
right?
live long.
Yeah. Wow.
So conceptually, people get carried away with everything about diet.
Exactly.
And just know that you need to find what works for you. And that may not be what's right for anybody else in your household or what you just heard is the latest fad diet or whatever.
Right.
You just got to learn. And when you find that out, just do that.
Right.
Don't listen to anybody else. Okay?
Right.
Because especially with couples, somebody goes on a no carb diet on one side and the other person just practically faints out because it's not healthy for them.
Right.
Okay? So what's good for you may not be good for the other person in the household. Next, myth buster. Let's call this the myth buster.
Come on with it.
You have to eat raw food to be healthy.
Yeah, I've heard that.
You've heard that. Well, do you remember when E. coli broke out from spinach?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So
You're right.
So it's not always safer.
Right.
Okay? It really isn't. I'm not saying you should never eat raw food.
Right.
Raw food is healthy for you. It has enzymes. There's all kinds of marvelous things that nature and God has put there for us to eat. I get it.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you got to eat raw all the time.
Right. I got you.
I personally couldn't eat salads till I was 40.
Wow.
I had just such a fast system that if I ate a lot of raw food, man, I was just in the bathroom, and that didn't work for me. So I ate a lot of cooked vegetables. I love vegetables. I love cook. Now I'm getting a little older.
Right.
I'm able to eat salads.
I got you.
I'm slowing down a little bit.
Okay.
But that's how it goes. So does everybody? You hear a lot of people. It's California. We're talking about vegan diets and vegetarian diets and. What does that all mean to us?
Yeah.
Did you try the new veggie burger that everybody's pushing, by the way?
I heard everybody say, don't waste my money.
It was terrible.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm glad I heard that.
Yeah. It actually bothered my stomach. I was like, I cooked it right. Everything was right.
Right.
Does that mean somebody left some bacteria? I don't know. But I'm just saying, I tried a couple of times. It just, there was something wrong about that. Read labels.
Right.
Look what's inside the food. If it's a simple food source, but the label is 3 inches long, and you don't understand any of the words that are on there, you probably don't want to really be eating that because it's got preservatives and chemicals and crap that you don't need. And we could spend 3 hours talking about food.
Right.
Because our food delivery system has changed the quality drastically. So if your air is a little, we had the fires last week.
Yeah.
So we were all a little polluted from that.
Yeah.
Whether you know it or not, your body is detoxing all that through your lungs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you were a little tired last week, guys, or you had more allergies than usual, or just didn't seem to feel like yourself, that's pretty normal stuff. Your body inhaled it.
Right.
Okay. Or if your eyes were bothering you, that's pretty straightforward. The particles are in the air. So we could go on and on about food, but finding what works for you is the best. What proteins work for you?
Right.
Okay. What convenient foods? What shopping markets are next to you that fit your needs? You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of patients who. They have very hectic lifestyles.
Right.
They're in the car, running around like most of us, right?
Exactly.
So for them, something that's in a bag or a protein bar or something snacks, like nuts or something simple is the way to go. Always have something around. So you got to go shopping once a week or once a month. You got to stock up. You got to have a few things,
Exactly.
And they don't have to be exotic. They got, they still have to be what you like. You can't. I could tell you, to eat X, Y, and Z, but if you don't like it,
right, exactly,
you're not going to eat it.
Yes.
So part of this is a little bit of an exploration process for everybody. They got to go out, shop for some things. If you bought 3 new things and you only liked one, that's all right. You found one new thing. Don't buy those other 2 next time.
Exactly.
And then maybe try another thing and get a little creative there and go on like that. So, and if not, seek professional help. If you can't figure it out, if it's not making sense to you. There are plenty of doctors who will help you nutritionally. chiropractors are typically trained nutritionally. There are several. So you have a lot of different specialties in there, including nutritionists. Okay. The alternative medical doctors, the holistic medical doctors, they're fabulous. You can go to them. Standard MDs don't get a whole lot of nutritional training.
Gotcha.
They really don't.
Gotcha.
Okay. But if they got the training, they're great.
I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, it's all about training on that front.
You know what? Talking about that, let's go back for a few because you do delve into the nutritional aspect of it.
Yep.
Now, you brought up allergies, which is really good, but a lot of people would say allergies, they think the pollens, whatever. But then let's go to the toxicity. People see that, the fish or whatever. Now, I didn't know until basically I was out of college and everything that I had seafood allergy. And so it was
How did that hit
tolerance for iodine. Too much iodine. And see, I didn't know anything about it until I went down to one of these swanky places. I think it was Benihana's. And so they were doing all the cooking in there.
Oh, I love
And so I went
there.
there. They took me there for my birthday, and I was sneezing every 30 seconds. And so
After you ate it?
No, just before, when I smelled the fumes.
Really?
Yeah, off of, because they got them open grills. They're cooking, and I couldn't stand in there, and I just ruined my whole birthday party because I didn't even know it. So then
That's a strong reaction.
The next time I had the lobster when we were in Hawaii, and when we were there and I had the lobster, it was so fresh back in the day.
Which island
really
did you
fresh.
go to, by the way?
At the Ellicott. We were at the Ellicott, so we were at, in Honolulu.
Yeah.
And so when it was fresh, it was years ago, when things were really fresh. And so suddenly I'm eating it, and suddenly my throat just kind of like I can't breathe automatically.
Yep.
And they had to call in paramedics on that one there. And that's when they told me, well, you had too much iodine in your liver.
Very strong reaction. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are another allergies that people don't know about. And so
Sure.
can we talk about a little bit about
Absolutely.
those kind of
So there are many different types of allergies, just like there are many things that affect our immune system. Traditional allergies have an antibody that's IgE, and I just go allergy. That's that antibody, and that's the typical. I got hay fever. I'm sneezing. My eyes are watering. That kind of thing. Okay, but the same can be an anaphylactic shock like yours. Okay, so it can be an airborne allergy. It can be a food allergy.
Right.
Okay, but then you got another couple of categories of, we're going to call them sensitivities.
Okay, gotcha.
We're not actually going to use the word allergy because in the medical model, it's not an allergy.
Okay.
Because it's not an IgE antibody. So it's not a true allergy.
Okay.
But it's a sensitivity. And it can hit you just as hard and just as bad. So, for example, you had a sensitive reaction to wheat, okay, or corn, or any other food source for that matter. Or, let's get crazy, we can talk about that reaction to things like mold. We can talk about that and how many. If you live near the water, everything's moldy, right?
Right,
so,
exactly.
And actually, that was one of the reasons why I loved coming to California, because I actually have mold allergies.
Wow.
And when I came to California, it's so nice and dry here. They went away. Yeah.
So mold allergy basically is what?
A mold allergy can affect any of those categories, whether it's a true allergy or a chemical sensitivity. It can hit you in a variety of different ways. But mold then tends to settle inside of us. Classic example is something we call candida in your intestines, okay? But you can get it in your eyes, in your throat, on your skin, and between your toenails, just like anything else. In fact, there's a widely held theory that if you have a lot of mold inside of your body, chances are you're going to exhibit it on the outside of your body, like your toenails. Okay?
Wow.
So if you got a lot of, so it's possible.
Right.
So I'm not saying they're absolutely connected, but it's possible. In some cases they are. So that's IgA and IgG, not IgE. Okay. I know I'm throwing a lot of medical jargon.
No, we need to know that.
It's just a little different category of it's a sensitivity. Now, it's good to know all of your sensitivities and allergies.
Gotcha.
So that, most of us will have 1 or 2, maximum 3 real strong allergies. And if you avoid those simple little things, you're good as gold.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But if you don't avoid them, then you're going to complicate things, because then your system's going to get run down. And that's when you're going to open the door to your immune system. your lungs are going to shut down, your throat's going to shut down, something bad's going to happen, you're going to end up in the ER.
Right, right.
You don't want to ever end up in the ER.
No, financially either.
Well, no, you're going to be there for hours, number one, before you're even seen.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
And then, and you hope you have a health insurance that will cover it. Otherwise, you're going to get a pretty stiff bill for that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you really don't want to go to the ER.
No.
So here's a concept. Let's prevent disease rather than worry about treating it.
Wow. Gotcha.
Okay?
Makes sense.
So in Europe, that's where they live. And that's, I think, in part because medicine is socialized in Europe. I'm going to use that word. And I'm going to qualify it, okay?
Okay.
Everybody in Europe gets health care. Everybody gets health care.
Wow.
What a concept, okay?
Yes,
everybody gets health care.
Right.
Okay? And so they know that if they teach their people how to stay healthy, the costs of the medical system is lower. I'll tell you that right now. It's a lot cheaper to stay healthy than it is to get well once you're diseased.
Right, you're right.
Right? Makes sense, right?
Yes, it does.
But we're not building our country that way. I mean, some of us think that way.
Correct.
And sometimes you'll hear a Kaiser Permanente commercial, if I'm allowed to say that, and they say, thrive.
Right.
But I've had a lot of Kaiser Permanente patients who don't get any of that prevention stuff from them.
Right.
And they don't know anything about diets. And they don't know anything about peripheral neuropathy. And, they don't offer a lot of things. But they do take care of strong basic services. Okay? That's what they're good for. You got a bacterial infection, you got, something serious going on like that. They're there for you.
No, you brought up a good point, because there's people right now going into December month that are having to choose now what their next year's plan is going to be like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
that's absolutely
Kaiser
right.
Permanente, going back to that for a minute.
Yeah.
Now, you said that they're not so strong as far as their little...
as far as preventative care, they say they are, but they're really not.
Really?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
but at least they talk about it.
Yeah.
At least they open the door for it. I don't hear that from anybody else, really.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, we talk about a whole lot of stuff that doesn't come into fruition.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you're stuck in there? See, what you're trying to catch people before they go there. Because once you sign up there for the next year, you're suffering in there.
You're in.
And so we need to be able to enlighten people when they're trying to make that choice right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Me, I do the cyanide thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I do.
It's working for you.
The anthem.
That's what I was saying. When you find something that works for you, you just stick with it.
It works.
Yeah.
It may be a little more at the pump.
Yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying, out front, or, you know what I'm saying, your monthly or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, what you get in the long run as far as the care, you know what I'm saying, my doctors are on a specialized tip, you know what I'm saying? And that's what helps. And so we're trying to, with this show, you're trying to open the eyes of people that are not being told this.
Sure.
And in our community, they're not telling us anything that's going to
help. And look, we're
us.
pretty good at shopping, but you need to shop your health coverage.
Right.
Frequently.
Right. Okay. Right.
And see what's out there.
Beyond Cover California?
I mean, just like every year or two, things just change.
Right.
Am I allowed to use the name of big?
Man, your show, you can do whatever you want to do.
Okay. I don't want anybody writing hate mail at me.
They're gonna be
but Blue Shield is the absolute worst. I'm just they're basically stealing money from the public and delivering nothing.
Right.
I'm sorry, but
Okay.
I've seen it hundreds and thousands of times. And all right, so let's educate a little bit.
Please.
There used to be a time when HMO and PPO was the jargon. All right?
Yeah.
So HMO meant you had to see their doctors.
Gotcha.
PPO meant you could see any doctor you want.
Okay.
Right? But it also meant that you had options. And then they came out with, well, now you can have a PPO, but we'll cover you more if you go with our doctors than if you go with their doctors, right?
Right.
And then they completely deleted the ability to have anybody but their doctor. So really, it's not a PPO, and they're calling it EPO now.
Right.
And then it's getting crazy out there is what I'm trying to tell you. They're just using different words to try to manipulate us into a policy that's no damn good.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
And they're cutting chiropractic out and acupuncture out and all the other peripheral services.
Right.
Psychologists are cut out, and forget about dentists. They've been cut out for the longest time. Do you know that dentists were the only group that didn't go into health insurance? back in the day.
Wow.
Because they saw this problem coming,
right.
and they just, as a group, said, hey, no, we're not going to do that. So, yeah, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Dentistry is expensive.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. That's just that's an interesting fact, historically speaking.
Right. So that's good.
And my hat's off to them because they saw it coming. Now look where we are.
Yes.
Now the insurance companies are telling the doctors how to treat the patient, how much they can treat the patient, what drugs they can use to treat the patient, how much chiropractic care. They're just,
right.
That's not how it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
They're not doctors.
Right.
They're just using accounting numbers to dictate things.
Right.
And it's wrong.
So where are certain earmarks that people can look at and when they start looking at the plan, when they're looking at some of the promises, what can they start, the red flags? What are some of the red flags we should look for?
Well, let's go backwards.
Okay.
What do they need? Everybody's different.
Okay, gotcha.
What are they going to need this next year? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For example, I had a couple of eye operations that I needed. Those weren't covered.
Wow.
I had to pay for that out of my pocket. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So think about, maybe once a year you visit your doctor of chiropractic, you visit your MD, you visit your dentist, you make the rounds, and you get an idea of, okay, where am I at?
Okay, gotcha.
I've consulted with a lot of different professionals. They've given me their opinion. They say I'm going to need this, this, and this. Great. Get a plan that covers that.
Right. Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The red flags are, if you need to see their doctors, but their doctors don't provide the service that you want. Okay. That's the only part. So, and for some, we just need to either make the deductibles higher or choose a plan that fits our budget like that. I mean, man, I can't even tell you that. Like 2 years ago, I had to cover my wife, and they Blue Shield gave us a policy that, I am not kidding, it was a mortgage on a monthly basis. I said, no.
Wow.
We're not going there anymore.
Right.
Yeah. So as you get a little bit older, they start nailing you in the last few years before you turn 65 because they know they can. It's criminal.
Right.
Absolutely criminal.
Now, the supplemental insurance, is there something to that?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah.
So for all you guys out there who are in Medicare age, you need a supplement.
Okay.
So Medicare just basically covers hospitalization. Let's look at it that way. Okay. Your supplement covers your doctors. Okay. And the other supplement is your medication. So you need a doctor coverage, okay, and you need a medication coverage,
right,
and maybe you want a dental coverage, like that. So you need to, again, look at what you're going to need.
Got you.
But you absolutely need that secondary.
Right.
Or you're going to be in the ER for everything.
Wow.
Now let's go backwards on that.
Yeah.
That's an inefficient way for us to deliver health care.
Exactly.
Okay, I got a virus. I'm going to go to the ER? That's all the only coverage I have. That's crazy.
Right.
I mean, it's 10 times more expensive than a doctor's visit. Maybe even more. I haven't looked at numbers lately. I'm just saying, you know how expensive it is. You walk through that door.
Yes, it is.
It's crazy.
Yes, it is.
I'm going to take 2 steps left because Wisconsin was a pretty amazing state. They were having trouble getting doctors. At least, don't quote me out there. I think it was Wisconsin. And so, knowing that 25% of all the visits to a doctor are for back pain, they decided that they were going to offer the chiropractors the primary entry position for all those patients. Were I not so happy with the weather here in sunny California, I would have been there in a heartbeat because that's forward thinking. Put the right, you know how they say, put the right person on the right seat on the bus?
Exactly.
That they're doing that. So I love that. I would love to see more of that. Right. But I'm not holding my breath because each state has a very heavy lobby in a lot of different ways, and they're trying to dictate. In fact, I can just speak, from a chiropractic point of view. I can treat feet in California. In New Jersey, they can't.
Really?
They can only do the spine. Okay, they can't do nutritional supplements. They can only do the spine. Each state is different.
Wow.
In Oregon, if you want, you can get certified to deliver babies. You got to go through the certification process. I personally would not want to do that. I don't want that responsibility. Leave that to the pros.
Exactly.
Right?
I got you.
But in each state is different. So for all of you who are jumping around. And by the way, other states have much better health care than California. At this point, I'm thinking we have one of the worst coverages in the country.
By design?
Yeah. We're the largest. We have the biggest, gross national product. We spend more money here than most states combined.
Gotcha.
So the insurance company is doing bean counting on us, going, we're going to have to do something out there to limit our liability and increase our profits. That's how they think. They don't think, how do we get people well, keep them well, stay out of the system? They don't think that way.
Exactly, right.
They're thinking about how little can they spend and how much they can make. And you can hide that in a lot of different ways, but that's the bottom line. It's a profit-for-profit situation.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
Wow. Bill Maher on television came up with a great concept. He said, everybody's all upset about the word socialist because of its, around the world history.
Exactly.
Let's call it capitalism plus.
Okay.
We're not going to change capitalism. No one here wants to change capitalism. They just want health care for everybody.
Right. Exactly.
If you've been around, you want it. If you're a parent, you want it. If you've been injured, you want it. Okay? So I think we need to start talking reality like that.
Right.
And then the other side comes in and says, how are you going to pay for that?
Exactly. Yeah.
We can work that out.
We
can work that out.
Exactly.
Yeah. It has to be reasonable, and it has to be a process, but we can work that out.
Right.
I have faith. But I would really like to be able to get two people in a room and have them have a real conversation and work some shit out.
Right. But see, this is what the forum is right here. This is the platform we're doing.
Yeah.
So, quickly on that, on the ER situation.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I went to the ER one time, and here's how crazy it was. I was having some back problems, you know what I'm saying, during the time when I wasn't seeing you before I found you again. And I was taking like the aspirins or whatever, and no one was telling me I'm thinning my blood out. So what started happening is every once in a while I'd be walking around and my nose would start bleeding, right? Yeah. And so one night it got to bleeding so much, and it was like on a weekend, right? So I went to
You're going
my
anemic.
doctor.
You lost so much.
Yeah, I went to there, and so they put me on the EKGs and all this other stuff. They were like panicking about, you know what I'm saying, because it's like Cedars-Sinai. You got that kind of good insurance.
He's hemorrhaging. What's going on?
And what happened was all of the reports came out just so nice and whatever. And then finally the lady came in. She says, have you been doing a lot of aspirins lately? And I said, yeah, because of my... She said, well, that's what it is, throwing the blood. She said, if it happens again, put your nose back and clamp it or whatever. That information cost me $2,000 for that visit to the ER.
Yep.
So, you know what? I know what you're saying with it. I try to stay away from ER.
All right, here, you just reminded me of two things that smack like that, too. So, all right, I'm going to get a little personal. This is a few years ago. I have an older brother. I said, John, peeing red. I think I'm in trouble.
Right. Wow.
I think I need to go to the ER. He goes, you been eating beets? Yeah. Well, what do you think? That's what it does. It's got to die. The people use beet dye to do a red dye from. Are you crazy? Forget about it. Get out of here. We're not going to the ER.
Right.
It was fine. I've had hundreds of patients who come to me who think they have either bleeding hemorrhoids or something else going on in their colon.
Right.
You eating corn? You eating popcorn? Yeah. You know all those little sharp kernels in the popcorn? That slices and dices its way through your colon.
Wow.
Very common. So when you said aspirin, I triggered on those two things. So if you're eating a lot of beets out there and peeing red, that's normal. And if you're bleeding out of the you-know-where, you probably should stop eating popcorn first and see how that goes.
Right, gotcha.
Otherwise, ER.
Right. Spend the money and time.
Don't say Dr. Kelberman said that I should not go to the ER. Okay, please.
Yeah.
Use your best common sense. And with that in mind, if you have something that you say, it's the worst of my life, go to the ER.
Right.
It's the worst headache of my life. It's the worst pain of my life. Like that. And women out there, if you have unusual symptoms like the worst heartburn of your life, you could be having a heart attack. So, women get unusual symptoms.
Right.
So I just figured I'd throw that out there.
Okay,
remember, if it's the worst of your, and you've got some history, this is the worst I've ever experienced, don't take that lightly.
Got you.
Yeah, go get it checked.
No, I can appreciate it. Now, let's flip it for a second while we have this time. Here, how does this work? What is this? This is something that you devised.
So if we lose the ability to, I'm going to call it you know what? I don't want to use medical terminology. If you walk on a beach, you know you can feel the sand under your feet.
Yes, you do.
And you know you can grab the sand with your feet.
Right.
That motion, that grabbing motion, that's called plantar flexion.
Okay.
So this piece of equipment is completely duplicates that motion. Okay, and the benefit here is that we have different strength springs, so we can continue to give you strengthening rehabilitation for your feet.
Okay.
So in the past, people say, "How are you going to straighten your feet?" Well, here's a marble, go pick that up, or here's a towel, go try to pick that up.
Right.
Well, that'll give you some range of motion, and that's good.
Right.
That's not going to give you power to hold your 200 pounds up. I weigh 200, by the way. I'm sorry.
I got you.
Yeah. So this was developed to simulate the arcing motion of the foot. It was developed to appreciate that grabbing motion of the foot, and it was adjustable so that whether you're very strong or very weak, we can deliver the right therapeutic exercise.
Okay.
So this is an essential part to any foot rehab that we do in the office, and I'm just thrilled to be able to bring it out to the public because there's nothing like it. There's nothing in any gym in any part of the world for it. I think by next year you'll be hearing a lot about it.
Well, I can figure you would put your foot in here, right? Somewhere. Okay.
Just like for everybody out there, you can't see what we're doing.
Yet again.
There you go.
Yeah, they got you.
So there you are. And the foot goes down and up and down and up against resistance. So it's a resistance strengthening device for feet.
Right.
Basically.
So the balls and everything.
Yep.
Got you. Okay. Wow. And you said these springs that they see that's on the side here they're
changeable in 30 seconds.
Oh, wow. Like lap band, kind of like the bands you use when you want to exercise the bands.
Exactly.
And then the part that's here, right here, that goes up and down. And then it pivots, too, so that you can just, like your foot pivots, too.
Yeah, there are some advanced movements, too, but that's the basic function of it.
Right.
And you would think, well, why didn't somebody do that already?
Yeah. How come I didn't make the millions out of that?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that's how you put it together. I like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know what I'm saying? There you go.
It works.
No excuse. Right.
It works really well.
Wow.
I also teach doctors of chiropractic relicensing hours once a month.
Okay.
And I bring this out to teach them as well. And they're amazed.
I'm sure.
As well, because it so helps the foot and the 27 muscles that are associated with it, and it so helps the pelvis and everything else that it's helping us help a lot more people.
Right.
Suffering from back pain, hip pain, knee pain, whatever.
Wow. Are they on the market now?
They're just through my office.
No, that's what I'm saying, but I can buy one of these.
Yeah, through the office.
Good. Okay, I got you.
310-268-8008 is that number.
And what would something like that hit me with? I mean, is it something that I got to go to ER after I get the bill?
Well, right now these are 3D printed.
Oh,
so it's the only way I have to print them. So, it's a little more expensive than it will be next year when we get full production going.
Got you.
So, right now they're $295.
But even for what it does,
but to fix your feet, knees, hips, and back, it's dirt cheap.
Yes.
And it's better to have one at home than to try to come into my office using it 3 times a week, because it's a hell of a lot better to use it on your own and cheaper to use it on
exactly.
your
own. All right. So whether foot you use on it, you don't have to get one for each foot. You just use it. Okay, I got you. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, we see you're not just trying to just get the money, so I appreciate that one there.
No.
So we got about 5 minutes left, Doc. So how do we brought a lot in?
Yeah, and we need to bring a lot more in. So we've
been
throwing a lot of spaghetti on the wall to see what would stick.
Yes, we have.
So,
Lady and the Tramp can eat for days, huh? Yeah, I love it. Doc, in putting this all together now, we see that, you as a chiropractor, they're trying to prehistorically say that you're licensed to do X, Y, and Z, but you're showing that you can go beyond the normal chiropractor, just align your spine.
Absolutely.
I know for myself. And,
absolutely.
The neuropathy, which is nerve pain, and all the other things that you're able to do. And so it's a whole budding thing in itself.
Sure.
And it's affordable. People don't understand that. It's affordable. You know what I'm saying? Because they make it sound like it's a specialty, so you got to pay for more. But, you know what I'm saying? So
my specialty is called applied kinesiology.
Okay.
And the word kinesiology means the movement of the human body, and what moves your body are its muscles.
Okay.
Muscles move bones.
Right.
So as a chiropractor, I want to get the joint in the right place, but I want to rehab the muscle that's associated with it so you get a lasting fix. Okay? That's what I've been all about for the last 35 years.
Gotcha.
And that crosses all the borders. I mentioned it in the other show, but our specialty combines chiropractic, physical rehab, acupuncture, metabolic nutrition, to deliver what the person needs. Okay? So we don't have enough time to go back through that, but we're going to have a variety of different doctors join the show.
Got you.
They're going to bring all kinds of specialties in. We're going to have a lot of really bright, interesting people joining us.
Exactly.
And we'll have a lot of great conversations. I'd love to hear from everybody out there on what your interests are. That way I can, fulfill that. So go to the website, westsidewellnesscenter.com, all spelled out. Call us at the office, 310-268-8008. Let us know what you're interested in. We can fulfill that. Okay?
Right. You'll be able to set
There's
up an
some
email.
great people in this town.
Exactly.
I'm really excited to bring forth.
Wow. You'll be able to set up
Of all
emails.
the specialties.
Yeah. I mean, no, I love it. I love it, man, because that's what it's all about.
The bottom line is great docs are great docs across the board.
Right.
Okay?
I got you.
And in every profession, there's the cream and the you-know-what.
Yeah. But cream always rises to the top.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's why, I'm glad that I found you and came back, you know what I'm saying? And that you're doing your own thing.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I'm saying, when you were working with the cat before, they're still doing what they're doing, PRPs and whatever else. And we'll get a chance to talk about that too. And stem cells not for everybody.
No.
PRPs not for everybody.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So for those that
But if you're really torn up bad, absolutely.
Yeah, right. Speaking to that,
Yeah.
There's a way and a means for everything as long as you're trying to get healthy. I see that's what you're trying to tell us. If you're trying to get healthy, there's a way to do it.
I mean, people come to me that they don't want surgery, basically. Okay?
Right.
So we've developed rehab protocols to facilitate that. And a lot of the times we're successful.
Gotcha.
Every now and then we don't. I mean, nothing's perfect.
Right.
Right?
Rolling the dice.
So there's a lot of information on the new website, both in the neuropathy field and the chiropractic field. They're basically two separate sides now, so you can go either way and get whatever information you need. westsidewellnesscenter.com. Okay. Again, would really love to hear from everybody to give us a direction. We take direction very well.
Right, I got you.
Yeah, we want to educate as many different people in whatever they need to stay healthy, get healthy, and stay healthy. Because that's going to be more valuable. If you get a bit older and you don't have your health, what do you have?
You ain't got nothing that I know.
You can't buy it if So, I mean, okay, sometimes you can.
A couple of days.
Sometimes you can.
Right. I
but
got
for most people, if you're not healthy, you can't buy health.
Right.
Wow. So and you can't take it with you either.
No.
So it's important. It's what makes our life living, worth living. And that's why I'm passionate about this, and I have been for 35 years, So this is Dr. Jason Kelberman. We're at the end of our session here. It was great having Dee here.
Thank you.
And
appreciate you.
I'm looking forward to more sessions. Remember, westsidewellnesscenter.com and 310-268-8008. And thank everybody out there for listening. Give us your feedback. We do deliver.